You probably think you make rational choices with money. You compare prices, you look for deals. You tell yourself, I needed that. But here's the uncomfortable question. If we're so logical, why do people go into debt for things they barely remember buying? Why do sales work even when we know they're sales? Why does a $9 coffee feel normal, but a $9 bank fee feels outrageous? And why do people with more money often feel less satisfied? This isn't about bad self-control or poor math. It's about something much deeper, something quietly shaping your decisions long before you open your wallet. Today, we're uncovering the hidden psychology of spending, where it began, how it evolved, when it started breaking us, why the fixes keep failing, and how the same patterns are repeating faster than ever. And by the end, you may realize that the scariest part isn't how companies influence you. It's how predictable your behavior really is, when spending became emotional. For most of human history, spending wasn't psychological, it was survival. You traded food for tools, labor for shelter. There were no brands, no ads, no lifestyle purchases. But everything changed once societies grew complex enough to create money, and later, markets. In the 1700s and 1800s, industrialization flooded cities with goods. Suddenly, people weren't just buying what they needed. They were choosing between options. That's when a subtle shift occurred. Spending became an expression of identity. Economists at the time assumed humans were rational actors, calm calculators maximizing value. But reality didn't match the math. People paid more for status. They bought duplicates they didn't need. They made emotional decisions and justified them afterward. Still, no one had a full explanation. That wouldn't come until the 20th century when psychology entered the marketplace. The birth of consumer psychology in the early 1900s. A man named Edward Bernays, Sigmund Freud's nephew, had a dangerous insight. If Freud could explain human desire, fear, and insecurity, why not use those same forces to sell products? Bernays didn't sell items. He sold meanings. Cigarettes became symbols of freedom. Cars became symbols of masculinity. Soap became a moral obligation. People weren't buying things anymore. They were buying stories about themselves. This marked the true beginning of psychological spending. Products were no longer solutions to problems. They were emotional tools. And once businesses realized this worked, there was no turning back. When spending took over identity. After World War II, economies boomed. Mass production exploded. Advertising went everywhere. This era introduced a powerful new idea. You could buy happiness, or at least the appearance of it. Credit cards removed friction. Monthly payments hid true cost. Shopping malls became social spaces. Psychologists discovered key triggers. Scarcity creates urgency. Social proof creates trust. Anchoring changes perception. Loss aversion outweighs logic. Spending wasn't impulsive, it was engineered. Even the layout of stores changed. Essentials placed at the back. Music slowed to keep you browsing. Prices ending in 0.99 to feel cheaper. Each decision nudged you gently but repeatedly towards spending more. And it worked beautifully. Consumption became the engine of economic growth. More spending meant more jobs. More GDP, more stability. At least that was the theory. When spending stopped making us happier by the late 20th century, cracks began to form. People had more stuff than ever, yet anxiety rose. Debt increased. Satisfaction declined. Studies revealed something unsettling. After basic needs are met, more spending brings rapidly diminishing returns. But the system didn't slow down. It sped up. Advertising became personalized. Data tracked behavior. Algorithms predicted desire before conscious awareness. Shopping moved online, removing even more friction. Now spending wasn't just emotional. It was automatic. One-click purchases. Buy now pay later. Endless scrolling. The result? Spending became disconnected from meaning, and that led to consequences no one planned for. Debt, burnout, and emotional spending. As spending rose, so did household debt, financial stress, impulse purchases tied to mood. People weren't buying because they needed something. They were buying to cope. Stress spending, boredom spending, validation spending. Neuroscience confirmed what behavior suggested. Purchasing activates dopamine, the same reward pathway as gambling. But the reward is short-lived, which means the brain wants more. This creates a loop. Emotion gives purchase, gives temporary relief, gives guilt, gives emotion again, and systems built on constant consumption depend on this loop continuing. Why budgeting alone doesn't work when problems emerged? The solutions were simple and mostly ineffective. Make a budget. Track your spending. Use more discipline. But here's the issue. You can't logic your way out of something that isn't logical. Most spending decisions happen emotionally, subconsciously, and socially before reason enters the picture. Budgeting treats spending as a math problem. But spending is a psychology problem. That's why so many people fail systems that were never designed for how humans actually behave. The pattern repeats, but faster today, the same forces are amplified. Influencer culture blurs advertising and identity. Social media turns comparison into a daily ritual. Algorithms learn your weaknesses. And the data is shocking. People spend more when payments are invisible. Seeing others spend increases your own spending. Digital wallets reduce perceived loss. We're repeating the same patterns, but at digital speed. The mystery isn't why people overspend. It's how predictable the overspending is. Spending is emotional before it's rational. If you don't understand the feeling driving a purchase, the purchase will control you. The system rewards unconscious behavior. The easier spending becomes, the less aware we are of doing it. Awareness changes outcomes, but only with friction. Slowing down decisions restores control. The most powerful spending decision isn't what you buy. It's when you pause. Because once you see how the psychology works, the illusion breaks and the system loses some of its power. So the next time you feel the urge to buy something, ask yourself, what problem am I actually trying to solve? If this video changed how you think about money, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who says, I don't know where my money goes, because now you do. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.